Welcome to Know and Awaken Your Soul's Unlimited Potential. My name is Eva, and as always, I'm so happy to have you here with me. And today, I'm gonna be continuing with my Akashic series. The Akashic series is basically a series that I started on my channel where I shared a lot about how our souls are designed, the different perspective from basically what energy centers are. When I'm talking about soul gifts in all of my videos, when I'm talking about different soul groups and all that, what do I actually mean? I really went into details on this to really help you understand basically who you are supposed to be. So if you haven't checked out my Akashic series, I'm going to be leaving a link to that at the end of this video. But in this video, I'm actually going to be highlighting a topic that I had shared previously that I've actually changed my perspective or my opinion on this based on my lived experiences in the past couple of months. And this topic was all about souls, the different types of souls that are in existence. But in this video, I'm going to be touching on negative souls. So here's the thing, let's start this out. So there are two types of souls that currently exist. And when I'm talking about these two types of souls, remember that this is based on my frame of reference with which I was taught. So you might have had different people giving their different explanations and all that. If you resonate with that, by all means, continue believing in that. I'm just going to be sharing based on my frame of reference and what I was taught. So two types of souls that exist. There's a positive soul and a negative soul. So a positive soul is basically the soul that still has that connection to God, that's still receiving vital force energy from God. Remember that we are made of 99.99999% of energy, that everything that is we are, everything that we create is all energy. And in order to create that, we do need access to, energy from God. So a positive soul still has that connection with God. So they're receiving a majority part of the energy from God, which they use to create their human experience currently. A negative soul, on the other hand, does not have that connection with God. What they do is that the energy they need to create their human experiences, they get from other souls. Meaning that in order for them to exist, other souls actually have to give them their energy. So initially, when I heard about this concept, my initial theory was that basically, or my own opinion was it of a negative soul would be someone like a psychopath or a narcissist. Like you've had these terms going all around, like someone who's really an evil person. That's literally what I thought when anyone mentioned negative soul to me. But that is actually not the case. And I've really actually changed my opinion on this, and I'm going to be sharing why. The reason why I changed this is that I actually, based on the work that I do, of course, there are certain souls who book a reading with me who might actually be negatively oriented. And what happens with this soul is that, first of all, they do not have their blueprint available for it to be read, because basically they're not receiving vital force energy through their blueprint, they're receiving it from others. So it's kind of like it becomes difficult to read for these souls. I actually cannot work with a negative soul. But originally I thought they are, the evildoers in society, but that's not the case. I've actually had an opportunity to witness, negative souls and how they operate. For some of these people I've encountered, some of them don't even have a conscious awareness of what they are actually doing. It's kind of like a soul thing. Like that soul already knows that we need energy from people. So all these behaviors that they have on the outside world, they might not be consciously aware that they're doing it, but that's basically what the soul needs to do to get the energy from people. So it's not the evil doer, the evil person, your boss who's toxic, or your colleague who's toxic, or your parent who's toxic, or all that. They're not the negative soul. It's actually quite impossible to tell and to differentiate between a negative and a positive soul unless you're actually in the Akashic records of someone. Because there are a lot of positive souls who are also masquerading as negative souls. Because basically it's kind of like their own protection mechanism. Their souls realize that, I've been giving so much energy to people. Like I've been attracting a lot of these negative souls into my experience. So how do I stop that? Let me pretend to be like this person, kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, or in this case it will be a sheep in wolf's clothing, right? In order to scare off these other wolves, these other negative souls, so that they're not attracted to me. So you might find a positive soul who's masquerading as a negative soul. They're not aware. in order to kind of like protect themselves. The other thing is that you might also find a negative soul who's masquerading as a positive soul, which is what I want to highlight, because I've witnessed negative souls in the spiritual community. And I don't know if they're aware of it because I'm not them, so I don't know what is going on in their mind. But what happens is that, because when I discovered this concept, I actually sat down and asked myself, like, because I love asking myself questions or things I really don't understand, and I really want to understand the deeper meaning to that. So I asked the question, why on earth will the negative soul feel the need to infiltrate or be part of a spiritual community? Like, what is the reasoning behind that? And this is what came up for me. Like, for a lot of people, so here's the thing, like, the positive souls are the majority souls, okay? Positive souls are the majority souls that exist. The negative souls, they're not too many. Because here's the thing, like, if all of us were negative, like a majority of us were negative, like, can you imagine the kind of world that would be, where we were all depending on each other together to get energy from each other? Like, I don't think the, like, would actually be in existence. Like, that would be too much for us. So how the universe is designed is that it's only a few souls who are negative compared to now the positive souls who are a majority. So negative souls infiltrating the spiritual community. Here's the thing, like, what do spiritual people do? Like, people who are really aware of themselves are tapping into concepts of love, forgiveness, and compassion, and understanding for the people around them. If you have a negative soul in there, it's like such a rich source of energy for these souls. Because what they'll do is that initially you will not even see it coming. This person will be the normal person, you're talking like so insightful, just basically doing normal things, like nothing big, right? And how negative souls usually get energy from us. Initially, I thought it was by doing something evil to evoke a certain emotion inside of us, to, you know, a negative emotion, in order for them to get that energy, because we do emit a lot of energy when we're negatively oriented. Not more powerful, but a lot more energy compared to if you're positive, if you're giving out positive emotions. Okay, but there's a difference in the powerfulness. Of course, positive emotions are way more powerful than the negative emotions. But what I initially thought is that this negative soul basically evoke those negative emotions, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, and all that, in order to get the energy. But when I'm seeing some of these souls, what they actually do is that they'll come, they'll be normal, they'll form friendships with you, like it's someone you'd actually really consider to be a friend, a business partner, and all that. And then in between, without even like, no, what is it called, I'm lacking the words for this, but without even like awareness of what happens, like you will just notice certain dramas starting to pop out. All of a sudden, oh, poor me, I'm having such a difficult day, emotionally, and all that. Like, creating situations that will make a positive soul feel sorry for them and tap into compassion for them. So what happens is that if you see now your friend, this negative soul who's your friend, struggling, of course you, with your compassion and understanding, will want to help them. You want to do everything to make sure they're okay, and that's okay. I'm not disputing that. That's completely okay. But what they do is evoke those emotions of compassion, understanding. They want to evoke you, constantly giving them energy by thinking about them, by taking our time and our energy to assist them to get out of whatever hole they've dug themselves into. And that's how basically they get energy from the positive souls. So they'll keep on creating little dramas that all of a sudden, oh, today I feel so emotional, I feel so stuck, I feel so this, and you feel so sorry for them. And so you just want to help them. And with that, they're actually getting your energy. Now, you might look at it like, what's wrong with that? And that's how I asked, like, of course, if I'm a compassionate person and I'm seeing you struggling, I want to help. And this is where basically I actually got hooked into the drama, because I'd see that and I'd want to step in and assist, because I didn't know they were negative souls at the time. So I'd want to assist them, of course, because that's how I'm designed. I'm very compassionate when I help you. But then it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, fine, this is way too much for me to handle. I cannot continue assisting you. Maybe you need to find someone else. But this person, because they've noticed that you were such a rich source of energy for me, how can I continue this relationship where you're constantly giving me your energy? So what they'll do is now they'll start making you feel guilty for not assisting them enough. Another form of you giving them energy. It's either guilt or shame. That those are the two emotions that I evoked. Where you'll start judging yourself in the sense that I should have done more. I should have helped this person more. And with that, you're actually giving this person more energy. So that's how basically the spiritual community has been such a rich source for these negative souls to gather energy from that, because they evoke those emotions inside of us, because we have such an innate need to assist them, to not want to see them suffer. We're constantly giving our energy to this person. Okay, but here's the thing, like I was asking before, what's actually wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is that you're basically enabling that behavior. And how I'm looking at it is this way. This is something now I didn't gather from my frame of reference from soul realignment work. I actually gathered it from the law of one material, the raw material. If you haven't checked it out, you can just go Google it. Like, I'm not gonna go into detail from that, but basically, in the law of one, it states that there are two types of souls. So there are souls who are now positively oriented, and these are the souls who are designed for service to others. Like, they love helping other people. So basically, we call them the positive souls. And the negative souls are the ones who are too self-obsessed, too focused on themselves. They don't want to assist others. They just want to help themselves and get, to a different place, a higher or whatever place. But they're basically too self-centered. That's basically what a negative soul is. And what law of one material states is that, because in the law of one material, it's a higher being who was dictating or giving this information to people on earth, some scientists on earth. And what this being was saying is that the best way to deal with these souls, it's not by having hate or anger or frustration towards them. Now, you as a positive soul, it's not by doing that. It's actually by sharing, showing them love. That's the best way to deal with them. And you find that for a negative soul, the minute you start giving them love, giving them compassion and understanding, and I know I'm contradicting myself, they kind of like it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable because I think it messes up with something with your blueprint or something like that, that they can't stand it. That the more they're in touch with this love that you're giving to them, it gets too much for them. They'll rather go find a different energy source, because that's a very uncomfortable thing for them. So the best way to actually get rid of this negative souls around you is just by showing them love. Now, I've also highlighted that this is also a way for them to get your energy. So here's the thing, right? If it gets too much for you, where you're like, this is too much energy, this is I'm enabling this person too much, it's taking too much from me, then probably that point, it's the point where you need now to set your boundaries with this person, and honestly have a honest conversation with this person and tell them that, hey, I can't assist you more than whatever I've done right now, and let them do whatever they choose to do with that information. For some of them, and this is where now the guilt and the shame come in, they'll make you feel guilty for setting your boundaries. So now they'll start making you like, no, but you can't assist me with this, you can't do this for me, because that is what actually happened for me. Like, this person or these people kept on insisting on me to assist them with something, and I knew I could not do that because I knew they were negative souls. So when they were doing that, the minute I just told them, like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not able to do that, and I set my boundaries, this person just left me. Like, literally, they just left me. Stop talking to me, stop communicating with me. All the energy that I was giving them previously, I cut off that connection by stopping to giving them attention. Like, I stopped giving them attention, and they disappeared. They found other energy sources to tap into. Now someone might ask, like, what happens with these other people? Here's the thing: as much as I'd love to assist the people that I know they're getting the energy from, it is that soul's opportunity to grow within themselves. That maybe the lesson now that this other positive soul needs to learn is to learn how to set those boundaries with people, to realize that you are actually not responsible for any other person's healing. You're only responsible for yourself. Because again, what I can do, you can do too. There's no difference between us at a soul level. The only difference that exists is when we're in this physical incarnation, but on an energetic level, on a spirit level, we are all the same. No one is above the other. So if I have these abilities to heal myself, to do certain things, you also have them. You just need to remember them. So it's not my responsibility to do that for you. You can do that for yourself. The only point I'd step in is by sharing the knowledge I might have based on my experiences with you, so that you, in now your wisdom, will sit down and say, okay, fine, I love this method that you shared with me, so I'm going to do more of that. That's basically your role when it comes to healing other people. It's actually not to do the work for them. They have to do the work for themselves. It's not your responsibility to do that for them. So now when it comes back now to the negative souls, the minute you set those boundaries and decide that, you know what, I cannot help you with this anymore, guess what? When they notice that you're not a source of energy to them, they still have to continue existing. So they'll find a different soul to mooch from, if I can say that. And there are so many souls currently. I mean, we're over 7 billion people in this planet, so they will not miss a soul. Now, when you look at the law of one material that states that you just need to give them love, to show them love, and that kind of like scares them off. The other side I like to look at is this, that when you're now showing love to this person, to this negative soul and all that, you need to be careful not to enable this behavior. Enabling meaning that, can you imagine if all positive souls stopped giving energy to these negative souls? Like we all collectively decided that, okay, now we're done with these experiences, we're done giving our energy to you, go figure out something else for yourself. What will this other soul do? Remember, they're still a soul. They'll still need to continue existing. With the law of one material, it actually suggests that we're not actually designed that way by God. We as souls actually choose the different experiences. That when you come now to the 3D experiences, that you were given a choice. Are you going to choose a positively oriented experience or a negative oriented experience? Meaning that you actually chose whether you're going to live a life in service to others or you're going to live a life in service to yourself. You chose that decision for yourself. So if it gets to a point where this negative soul is like, okay, I have no one around me to give me this energy and I still have to continue existing, guess what? They still have the opportunity to revert back now to being positive souls and now start getting the energy from God. I don't know. I will say this is my perspective. I don't know if it's true or if it's possible. So if anyone knows more details into this, I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Share down below. This is just my perspective. The fact that if it gets to a point where the negative soul is like, okay, I'm not getting this energy, I can revert back to being a positive soul. You do have that choice. So the minute us as positive souls, we're constantly giving our energy and creating that environment of enabling this negative behavior, are we really assisting them? So you might look at setting boundaries or refusing to help as you being incompassionate towards this person, but it's actually the highest form of love you can have to this person, for this person, sorry. You actually love them enough to help remind them that this is not the only way you can do this. There's a better way, by connecting to God, by connecting to Source, so that you can experience life now with that connection instead of getting the energy from the people around you. But as long as you're creating that environment where like it's still okay for you to continue getting my energy, though, you're basically reinforcing their bad behavior. So that's how I want you to look at it. I mean, even if you have a child who's constantly doing the wrong things, what is the best way to help this child? It's not by ignoring their behavior and trusting that they'll figure it out for themselves. It's actually by calling to attention to this child that, hey, there are consequences to your action. If you do this, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna take away your phone. I'm gonna take away your TV privileges or whatever. So stop doing the negative thing. And by constantly doing that, this child learns that every time I do engage in wrong behavior, I get punished for this. So to avoid the punishment, I'd rather be in the right. And this is basically what you'll be doing with the negative souls. You'll be teaching them that, you know, there is no more entertainment of this drama that you're creating in my life. I'm done. I'm setting my boundaries. So what will that mean for the negative soul? They'll be like, okay, I need to continue existing. Let me do something better or something different. Let me tap into what you're doing, now reverting back to being a positive soul and now continuing the existence. So that is my perspective on this story. I hope you do like what I've shared. If you do like what I've shared, or you have any perspective or comments on this, comment down below. Let me know your perspective. Subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed, and also click on the notification bell that's next to the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any content I do share out here. And as always, I end my video by sharing a little bit about my work. So first of all, just to bring to your attention, I have prepared a very powerful, very life-changing quantum flow meditation for you. It's really powerful and it's for free. I leave the link to that down below just to say thank you for watching this video until now, and also being a subscribed member to my channel. To say thank you to that, for that, I have prepared a powerful meditation for you that will help you shift into states of inner bliss, peace, and calmness in less than 30 minutes. So if you want to check out the quantum flow meditation I prepared for you, check out the link down below. And as always, sharing how I can actually help you remember who you are, remember your soul identity, remember your soul gifts. I do that with two modalities, one of which is soul alignment work, which is based on working with the Akashic records, where we actually identify who God created your soul to be. If you want to know, are you a positive soul or a negative soul, you can actually check it out with the soul alignment reading. I normally don't attract a lot of, actually I attract a lot of very few negative souls to my experience, because again, I can't really work with them, and kind of like energetically, I don't want to say it's impossible to attract them, but I don't attract a lot of them. But anyways, if you want to know or have confirmation of what kind of soul you actually are you positive or you're negative, you can check out with the soul element reading down below. You can check out what your particular soul gifts are. Who were you created to be? What gifts are you supposed to leverage to create your human experience? The third thing is that you get to discover where your soul is originally from. Like, here's the thing, you didn't originally, for some souls, they didn't start their human experience in this planet. They incarnated elsewhere before choosing to continue the experience here. So if you want to know where your soul is originally from and the characteristics of that particular star system, you can discover that with the soul alignment reading. The fourth thing is that you get to discover what level of awareness, what dimension are you tapped into consciously. You know, where are you getting your guidance from? Which dimension are you getting your guidance from? You can discover that with the soul element reading. The other thing you get to discover is your particular soul story. Which lifetime did you start making negative choices with your particular soul? Negative choices that created negative karma, that explain a lot of the experiences that you're currently having in this human experience. If you want to know basically why life has happened the way it's happened for you, you can actually discover that with the soul story. You get to actually discover the negative choices that you're still making until now. And then the last thing is that you get to heal or clear all this negative karma that you created in your blueprint. Return your blueprint, your soul blueprint, back to its original integrity. And now with the awareness from the reading of how you're supposed to show up in the world, you get empowered to make different and better choices for yourself, so that you're not creating the negative karma again. That is what you will expect with the soul alignment reading. Basically, this reading is for you if you have been struggling with discovering who you are, if you've been struggling with accepting yourself for who you are, if you've been looking around and noticing that, hey, why am I so different from the people around me? Why do I act like this? Why do I show up like this? Why do I think like this? You know, a lot of people struggle with this, and if you want to know the reason why, you can discover that with the soul alignment reading. And again, if you want to actually discover why life has been going for you the way it has, like why you've attracted the same people, the same experiences over and over and over again, basically you can discover that with the soul story that I'll be sharing with you with the reading. So check out the link down below and book a session. and I hope I'll see you on the other side. The second modality I do work with is quantum flow. So quantum flow is all about rewiring your nervous system, basically clearing all these blocks and restrictions that you've created in your nervous system based on your past emotional wounds, your trauma, all the way from birth, from actually your mother's womb. All of these emotions, all of these negative emotions, all of these negative wounds, they're all recorded in your nervous system. And what they do is that they actually block the flow of energy within your body, which impacts different areas of your life: your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your energy well-being. Like, all of these areas affected when all these blocks are in your nervous system. And with the quantum flow methodology, you get to break these blocks down, you get to break all these crystals down and get the energy flowing freely, which actually, by changing yourself vibrationally on the inside, it impacts the vibration on the outside, meaning that you'll be able to tap into higher states of being in different areas of your life. Again, your physical, emotional, mental well-being, all of that. You get to actually, with the quantum flow, you get to really reconnect with your soul, to really tap into your intuition, to tap into your soul guidance. Because a lot of people are not connected to their soul guidance. They've forgotten why they are here. So if you want a connection to that, you want to clear everything physically that's blocking you from accessing your intuition, you can do that with the quantum flow session. Book a session with me down below. The link is in the description box. If you would like to know more, you can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm always happy to assist wherever I can. For now, I am sending you so much love, and I do hope I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.